Through the prayers of Holy Father, Lord Jesus Christ, our God, have mercy on us and save us. Amen. You are welcome to this YouTube channel where we read to you on a daily basis the lives of saints has been celebrated by traditional Orthodox Church according to the old calendar. Today, July 26th of the church calendar, we commemorate the hero martyr Harmolaus. He was a priest in Nicomedia in the time of the Emperor Maximian and was with the 20,000 martyrs condemned by the emperor to be born in their church. Harmolaus somehow escaped death on that occasion, together with two other priests, Hampius and Hermocrates. Harmolaus baptized Saint Pantaleimon, with whom he was brought to trial, tortured and finally beheaded. Hampius and Hermocrates suffered with them, and they were all crowned with a lot of victory and glory in the kingdom of Christ. They suffered with honor in about 304. Our Holy Mother, the Martyr Paraskev, born in Rome of Christian parents, she was brought up from her earliest youth in Christian faith and gave herself wholeheartedly to the fulfilling of God's commandment in her life. She brought others to the faith by means of her true and deep faith and devout life. When her parents died, Paraskevi gave all her goods away to the poor and received a monastic habit as a nun. She preached the truth of Christ with ever more burning zeal, not hiding from anyone, even though the Christian faith was at that time subject to bloody persecution by the Roman authorities. Wicked Jews denounced Paraskevi for preaching the forbidden faith, and she was brought to trial before the Emperor Antonius. All the emperor's flattery was unveiling in shaking the faith of this servant of God. She was then put to torture by fire, and a white hot helmet was placed on her head. But God saved her miraculously, and she escaped and left Rome. She again began to go from city to city, there to bring the pagan peoples to the true faith. In 2 more cities, she was brought before princes and judges and tortured for her Lord, performing on this occasion great miracles by the power of God and quickly recovering from her wounds. The pagans, as ever, called her miracles magic and ascribed her recovery to the power and mercy of their gods. Saint Paraskevi once said to a prince who was torturing her, "It is not your gods, O prince, who heal me, but my Christ, the true God." She was finally beheaded by a prince Tarasius, thus gloriously ended the fruitful life of this holy woman. Her relics were later taken to Constantinople. She suffered for Christ in the 2nd century. Our Holy Father Moses the Hungarian, he was at the court of young Prince Boris of Russia. Then, when the godless Sisto smothered Boris, Moses escaped and fled to Kiev. A little later, he was taken to Poland as a slave by King Bolesław and sold for 1,000 gold pieces to his young and depraved widow, the wife of one of Bolesław's dead generals. This wicked woman tried to turn Moses to debauchery, but he would not be turned, having vowed to live chastity before the Lord Jesus. She then suggested marriage to him, but he refused. Moses secretly received monastic profession from a monk of the Holy Mountain and appeared before his owner in his monastic habit. She bound him and ordered that he be flogged and his private part cut off. He spent 5 full years in hopeless enslavement to this evil woman. 5 years of pain and torture, but suddenly King Bolesław perished in a rebellion in which the woman was also killed. Then Moses was free to go back to Kiev, where with St. Anthony, he gave himself to prayer and silence, overcoming all his vices. He helped many to free themselves from death, and his holy relics helped many. After 10 years of silence in the caves, St. Moses entered into rest on July 26, 1043, and went to the eternal and virginal kingdom of Christ. For consideration, no passion is overcome without a great struggle. The Holy Father called the passions of concupiscence a mortal passion. When a dissolute man is saved from this passion, he is like a dead man raised to life. For those who live in the world, this passion is roused mainly through sight, but for those living in the desert, it is roused mainly through thought and imagination. St. Cyril, that great ascetic, was tormented by the passion of lust for 30 years in the desert. She always succeeded through prayer in overcoming it and in driving it from her. Once this passion appeared to her in bodily form and said to her, You have overcome me, Sarah. Sarah humbly replied, It is not I who have overcome you, but the Lord Jesus. And from that time, lustful thoughts left her forever. When St. Poem was asked how a man could fight against lustful passions, she replied, If a man guard his stomach and his tongue, he will be able to conquer himself. St. Anthony says that there are in a body three kinds of impulse. One natural, one from lack of restraint in food, and one from the demons. Others have further spoken of lust taking its strength from anger and pride, but they were all in agreement that alongside man's sobriety and toil, God's help is essential for a man to uphold a passion entirely. That is possible for a man to keep himself pure is witnessed among many others by St. Moses the Hungarian, who lived 50 years in the world and 10 in a monastery, 60 years in all, in utter virginal purity. Thank you for listening. Please help us to subscribe and share so that this could reach as many as possible number of people for the spiritual upliftment of their souls. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, I want through God. Amen.